Hello everyone, happy Friday, yay, it's the weekend. I was so excited. I get to make a card today, and for my Happy Friday series I'm going to be using what's in my stash. Now this is how I store my stamps. I have like 12 of these baskets and I label each one of them, and I label them about like animals or sentiments and cupcakes, stuff like that. Well, I grabbed the stamp set from the Stamps of Life, and it's the cutest little Birdcage stamp set. Oh my gosh. And I got it last year, and I think they still have them, so I'll link below where you can find them. But this is the cutest little stamp set. It is, let's see, Birdcage 2 stamp set. And then this is a background stamp from Heidi Swapp. It's a 6x6 stamp, and it's really pretty chevron stamp set. Or actually, it's not a set, it's stamp. So I thought I would use that today. I'm grabbing some Versamark ink, and I'm inking up the stamp. I'm just inking up the left side of it because I'm going to do my card, my standard size card on it. This is a A2 size card, 5.5 by 4 1/4. And just as I got ready to stamp it, I thought, you know what, I think I want a little bit of a border around my card base. And so I grabbed some washi tape off my desk, and I'm just going to tape off about 1/4 of an inch off of my my card base here. And this washi tape is pretty sticky stuff, and I was afraid it was going to lift the paper, and so I'm kind of pressing a little bit lightly on it. So I went all the way around it, so I have a little bit of a border, and I'm going to re-ink this chevron stamp here. I'm going to flip that over, and I'm just going to press it directly on that stamp. Pressing really good, making sure that I get a really good impression. And I think that turned out so pretty. I'm going to clean off my stamp and put that away. And then I thought about adding clear embossing powder and then heat embossing it, but then I really like just the watermark look. So I think it's, I don't know if you can tell, but I think it's just really pretty. And so I'm going to leave it like that. We're going to set that aside, and then we're going to work on our panel. I'm going to grab the stamp set here, and then I have these stitch dies. These are from Lawn Fawn, and they are the small stitch 4-bar rectangles. I grabbed the largest one, and then I'm grabbing some Bristol smooth cardstock. I'm going to be doing some ink blending, so we're going to need that smooth cardstock. I'm grabbing my Big Shot, and I'm just going to run that die right through the machine here. Lovely. Put that back and then pop that out. Okay, now I'm going to grab my little laminated piece of paper here. It's what I usually do when I do blending. And then I grabbed 2 distress inks. These are Tim Holtz distress inks. I grabbed Salty Ocean and Squeezed Lemonade. And then I'm going to start off with the Salty Ocean. And I wanted the edges of this panel to be very bold. And so I'm going heavy on the edges and then kind of blending in. And I'm completely missing that center part of this panel. I want to keep that white. And so once I got that done, I'm going to go into the Squeezed Lemonade, and I'm just going to go over portions of the blue. That way I'll have blue and then yellow, and then put them together. Of course you get green, and so I love the way this looked. And again, I'm leaving that center of that panel white. We got that done. I'm just going to take a wipey and wipe off that laminated sheet while it's still a little bit damp there. Okay, look how pretty that looks. I love that look. Okay, now I'll grab my mini Misty, and we're going to do some stamping. In the stamp set, the strong magnet boy, I'm going to grab that little itty bitty bird. There's 2 sizes. I'm grabbing the larger bird and placing him right in the center. Lovely. And then I'm grabbing 2 inks. The inks that I'm using are the Hero Hues ink cubes, and this is Butter Bar. And then I'm taking taking that and then the corn flour, but I'm making it a two-tone. I put butter bar on the bottom and then I put the blue on the top, the corn flour on top, and I love the way that just blended, made that birdie real pretty. And then this stamp set also has an outline to outline your bird, so I'm placing that right on top of my image, and then I'm taking the Cup of Joe, the brown ink, and I'm going over my birdie. And I think he looks so cute. I wanted the legs just a little bit darker, so I'm taking my alcohol marker, my dark brown alcohol marker, just going over his little feet. Lovely. Now we need to stamp his little wing, and so I'm taking that corn flour, and then in the stamp set has the little itty bitty heart that will fit in there perfectly. So I'm going to just stamp that in the center. And I wanted it to be a little bit more bold, and so I grabbed orange soda. I was going for kind of making a brown, so I put that on top of the blue, and it worked really well. So I have a nice little dark wing for my little birdie. So cute. And then just to add a little accent to my little bird, I grabbed my white gel pen, and I'm just adding a few little dots of white on my little birdie here. And I just love the way he looks. Now we're going to grab that beautiful Birdcage. I want to put my panel in the Mini Misty and position my Birdcage right on top. And then I'm grabbing, I was going to use Memento ink, but then I thought VersaFine would give it a real crisp image. So I'm going over my stamp with some VersaFine. I'm pressing. And I'm glad I used my Misty because that little top area there didn't get stamped too well. So I'm going to go over it one more time. And I think this is a beautiful Birdcage. I just love the stamp set. Lovely. Love the way that looks. Okay, now we're going to work on our sentiment. So I'm grabbing a piece of white cardstock, and then I'm using the sentiment that says, "You're a tweetheart." So cute. And I'm just using my VersaFine. I'm going to stamp that right in the bottom of that white cardstock. And then I think I'm going to emboss this. So I'm grabbing a little scratch piece of paper here, and then I'm going to use some Nouveau clear embossing powder, and I'm going to go over my sentiment. I just like the way that it just pops for a sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and heat set that. And if you have any birdie stamp with the cages, this is a great way to make a card. I think it's so pretty. And any background stamp would work really nice too. Okay, now I'm putting my sentiment back, and then I'm going to cut it out. I'm using, these are a stitch sentiment dies. They're for my favorite things. Has a stitched edge. And then I'm grabbing some, this is like generic post-it tape. So I'm just taping that down. And then I thought while I'm at it, while I got the Big Shot out, I'm grab some ink, and this is raspberry jam, and I'm just scribbling it on that paper, and then I'm going to grab a little heart for my stash, and I'm going to cut that out at the same time. I'm going to run that through. This card was very simple to make, but I think it turned out so pretty. I really liked it. It's a fun card to give. I'm going to grab my craft pick here and pop out my little heart. It's kind of a wonky heart, and I think that's adorable. And if you can tell, I kind of stamped my sentiment to the left there, just so I can make room for my little heart. Lovely. Now let's work on our card. I'm going to pop up this panel using some foam tape. Lovely. One more, and then I'm going to trim it, and we'll just peel off that backing. And I'm going to place that directly in the center of my watermarked card base here. And I love the way that background just pops. I love those colors. I'm going to pop this up as well with some foam tape. And I was going to put it in the center, but I kind of like things off to the side a little bit, so I kind of shifted it. Now the stamp set did have a little swing that the birdie can sit on, but I chose not to use it for this card, and I thought it'd be nice to have the birdie standing on the sentiment. And then I'm grabbing this itty bitty heart, and I'm using that same ink, the raspberry jam, and stamping that little heart 3 times right next to the birdie there. I'm using some Wink of Stella because we need shimmer and shine, and going over all the hearts, and then plus the little birdie too. And then for finishing touches, I'm grabbing some glossy accents, and this is just a precision bottle. I take my big bottle of glossy accents and fill it up, just easier for me. And so I added some glossy accents to all the hearts, and then last but not least, we need to dot the little birdie's eye just to make it pop a little bit. And that's it. That is my Happy Friday card using what's in my stash. I hope this inspires you to use what's in your stash and just have a fun day crafting. Thanks for stopping by again. If you like this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely day. Oh, and in the end, there's 2 more videos if you want to check those out with my Happy Friday series. Bye-bye.